Hello! Thanks for stopping by. It's really good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. This has been a long time coming. I've been thinking about starting a YouTube channel, trying to use some of my skills from behind the camera, in front of the camera, for as long as I can really remember. In a lot of ways you could say that there's been some big things that happened in my life, which maybe I'll get into at some point in like a longer format, but I'm not sure whether you're joining me right at the beginning here or if you're jumping back to some other video to be like, where did this guy start off? Here. I had the craziest day. I was supposed to film this in beautiful daylight. I get awesome sun right up until noon in my condo here. I've got an absolutely ridiculous view, in my opinion, for my socioeconomic demographic. I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. I was born in Victoria. Got this little commemorative shot glass. I've got a whole bunch, and I also like hot sauce, evidently. I hope that this YouTube channel is gonna have a few streams. I'm still working it all out. I just jumped into this. I've been on this journey of self-awareness, learning, loving, growth, all of the things. And it is, you could call it what normally might be a midlife crisis, but I've certainly wouldn't call it a crisis. I was kind of in crisis. I was in a pretty weird transitional time in my life. And not to dwell on it for very long, because it's an insanely complex topic, which I can't bear to get into at this time. The COVID quarantine and isolation and stay-at-home orders, that said, there's been so much time for me to get to know myself, face some of my anxieties for trying to do something like this, trying to look at the future of my career with photography, videography, different visual arts, and now trying to be on camera is pretty terrifying, but we're right here. A big part of me always had this feeling like I needed to be already at the end, like this perfect formed performer or in my best, physical shape to do this thing and be on camera. And in a way, there is this standard of who you see on TV. At the same time, during this worldwide pandemic, it's been so absolutely inspiring to see a couple things. Not just all the content from all of my favorite creators, so many creators I didn't even know about. Some of the coolest stuff has come from friends, colleagues, or just people, friends of friends, or just other interesting celebrities and people out there starting their voice. There's been so much good news. All these people finding their voice on a platform that just lets you kind of do what you want to do. Play around. I'm going to figure this stuff out somehow. What I want to put on this channel, what I want to talk about. There's this one guy who's absolutely dear to me, like best bud. I've gotten to go on some crazy adventures with him. I've met some awesome folks collaborating with him and other performers, comedians, magicians, artists, all kinds of stuff that I wouldn't have had access to. I went to high school with him, and we have a kind of a 10-year gap of growing up in life, and then that kind of part of my life ended, which happens, and then right around the time I got to know him again, and since then I've been on tour with him. I've filmed some stuff that I absolutely love. We've had some crazy couple successes, millions of views that I've had the pleasure of being a part of. And yeah, during this pause, he's always been someone who's told me, believed in me, and pushed me to like get on camera. So thanks, Wes. And I'm gonna want to talk about so many awesome YouTubers, specifically some Canadian YouTubers who I aspire to get on a level, maybe one day. But Wes has always been the guy to push me forward, so a big part of the reason that I'm actually doing this and following through, for once, let's call it, is I want to be this version of myself. I want to do these things, and it's cool to have all these awesome people in my network who have supported me and pushed me and encouraged me, and yeah, So here we are. I wonder how much of that I'm just gonna cut out because it went on and on and on. I'm going to put out some ambient videos that just sort of, they're kind of like art to put on your TV, visuals that are very peaceful or just interesting to look at, things to put on in the background. Cleaning our house, working on something, maybe some project. I don't know. I'm going to talk about, and I am in the middle of, an ongoing weight loss journey. From the beginning of this year, it's the end of May in 2020 now, and the beginning of 2020, like literally, well technically December 30th, 2019, I have lost about 50 pounds. I'm keeping it off, though, you know, fluctuating, and I had a lot of help in a way. I went for help because it's been something I've struggled with a long time. So I wanted to jump into that weight loss journey in the middle so you can see where it goes. Because sometimes it's too staggering to see like that before and after picture. I want to be still a fitter guy because I just want to hang around. I want to see what cool things people make. Let's do a rapid fire kind of a little bit about me and things I might talk about. I love video games. I had 2 older brothers growing up and they were already playing Nintendo, Commodore 64, we had an Atari, so I've been playing games a long time. I literally can remember being about 3 or 4 years old, sitting in the basement with my brothers and playing Super Mario Brothers, being terrible at Mega Man, these sorts of things. Currently, this is my favorite system. But I got this one because the games, you can't lie with that lineup, and I'm so excited for the next generation. And then Nintendo, I mean, it's just so fun, and it's my absolute favorite travel companion. And there's this one series in particular that I would love to see return to greatness. If you're coming in here totally blind, it's fair to say you might not know that I am a visual artist, which is a nifty way to say that I'm a photographer professionally and a videographer. I'm not going to do like specific tech reviews, but I'm going to talk about the things that I use to make a living and make these videos. Before anyone jumps down my throat, I like all brands for different reasons. I'm not a brand loyalist, but there's sometimes when it just makes sense to stick to one thing, and yeah, so right now I'm Lumix S1 guy. I'm probably going to get an S1H eventually, but my, you know, the S1 is a totally wicked camera. I love it. It's kind of fun to go back to the big chunky feel of like what I previously had was a 5D Mark II for a long time. And then one of the other cameras I love is this GH5 right here. Hi GH5. Look, now it's me in a mirror. Star Wars is one of the reasons I'm here. I can draw a direct line from the special edition that came with the making of documentary additional, I want to say VHS, in like the silver one or the gold one. Gosh, maybe it was the first DVDs, but anyways, the behind the scenes documentary, that made me realize that I could make, you know, movie magic, but for real, get involved. I always had a passion for just playing around with cameras. I think I got that from my mom. Is it the best movie or movie series ever? Maybe, maybe not, depending on your criteria, but it's absolutely my favorite. Blade Runner also really speaks to things that I love in terms of the neo-noir, the colors, the intensity. The Final Cut, is it the best version? Let me know. Honestly, I think it is, but it's hard to say. Another thing I love is junk food, which is probably part of how I am, but I love just like fine dining down to home cooking to just, God, do I ever love one of these. I don't know if I can show branding. Does it matter? I gotta check these things, but let's just take a minute. I know something like it's awful. Because I'm on this journey though, I've been drinking a lot more Coke Zero, which also isn't any good for you, but a lot less sugar and carbs. And you know who thinks these glasses look great and totally suit him? This guy. If it hasn't been clear already, I'm a pretty big nerd, definitely a big geek. How you define those things, well, you can place them in different places where they apply, but I'm definitely a film nerd. Here's a piece of paper that says so. I actually got my Bachelor of Film and Screen Media Production while I lived in Brisbane, Australia. Absolutely loved it there. And it was a crazy great year. I learned a ton. I do like sports, specifically hockey. I am a goalie. This is my old mask. Well, one of my old masks. Also my childhood and all-time favorite superhero, right there. I've got this cool hat that I also like. It sums up the vibe that I try and put out into the world. It's, man, it is hard to do these things. I don't know how to finish it off. But I've got an idea. Hey, gosh, if you've hung around this whole time, thank you. And, you know, hopefully tell your friends about it. Maybe when I've got a couple more videos to share. It's so tough to figure out how to end this. It's been cool hanging out with you. This experience of talking to nothing is surreal. Normally, I am over there. I'm so excited to show you all these awesome people that I've had the opportunity to work with over the last few years. Not to mention delve into my background specifically in wedding videography, photography, event work, things like that, and things that come along that I can share with you guys. I don't know how to put a cap on this thing. Oh, how about this? For my first 100 episodes, I'm gonna sneak this in, and we'll call it, hi Mom, 100. I snuck it in at the end because you weren't expecting it, and maybe you'll love it so much you'll cry. I'll follow up in a future episode and let you know if I tugged on the heartstrings or if she laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed right out of wherever we were talking.